Hello YouTube, my name is Nye. You join me again in the Finale Guitar Studio in Sheffield, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about loop pedals. For this video I'm going to be using my Boss RC-30 loop station. This tutorial will also help you with any other sort of loop pedal. They all work in a pretty similar way. This one does have a few extra features compared to some of the more budget alternatives. But the basics are still mostly the same. If you are shopping about for a loop pedal, I would recommend the Boss ones because compared to other ones that I've had, they last a lot longer. The buttons, the ones that have the little skinny cylindrical buttons, they tend to wear out really quickly, whereas these ones are more or less indestructible. So yeah, the cheaper one, the RC-20, is very similar to this except that it only has one pedal. On this version you can record something on this side and record something separately on that side, and then you can cut that side in and out, or cut that side in and out, which is pretty handy for arranging purposes, as I'm going to discuss later on in this video. First things first, when people are starting out with loop pedals, this has happened to me so many times as well, they're very, very difficult to get in time. If you're looping without the metronome on, quite often you'll find your loop doesn't come out quite in time and it makes it almost impossible to play along with. The amount of gigs I've done where, due to either poor monitoring or me stomping the pedal slightly out of time, a whole band has ended up going wrong and it all sounds dreadful. Yes, there are some ways to get around that. The simplest way, if you are looping without the metronome turned on, tap your foot before you start your loop. So here's an example. I'm just going to play three chords. I'm going to play E minor, A minor and B minor. So I'm going to tap my foot. My left foot is going to go on my left pedal, which is the one that you press on this pedal to start the loop. So I'm going to tap my foot as I play, and I'm just going to play through the loop a few times before I start to get the feel of it first. Time I run through this loop, I'm going to get to the end of the loop. When I get to the first beat of it again, I'm going to stomp extra hard to start the loop. 2, 3, and stomp. And here we go again to stop it. 2, 3, and stomp. That's that bit done. So that's the first thing. That's the best and easiest way to keep your loop in time. There is also a metronome function on these Boss loop stations. Other loop pedals usually have them as well. However, they sound a bit clunky. For example, I'll just have to delete that loop a minute. Here's the default Boss metronome. It's a slightly echoey click. It's okay. If you want to play along with that to begin with, it does quantize the loop start and end points. So even if I start my loop out of time like this, you see it moves the click so that the click lines up with when you started your loop. And when you stop your loop, it'll snap the end point to where the nearest click was, so it'll try and keep it in time for you. So you might find that easier when you're starting out, just to play with that. However, as you progress, obviously you won't want the click noise in the background, and it does come with some kind of ready-made drum tracks as well, like this for example. So they can be handy if you want to sound like you're playing with an 80s drum machine, but I personally think it's a lot more fun to make your own percussion as you go along. On the subject of making your own percussion, there's several ways you can do that. One way to do it is if you have an electroacoustic guitar or a hollow body guitar like mine, then you can tap on the guitar body to get some really interesting percussive effects. So here's an example of that. To begin with, I'm just going to do like a bass drum by just whacking it. So 1, 2, 3, and stomp. So you can hear there that is looping away in the background. Compared to the volume of my guitar, you can hear that that is pretty quiet. So what we're going to do about that is get the volume control. This little light here is indicating that I'm recording on this left channel. I'm going to get the volume control for that channel and I'm going to turn it up. If I'm ever doing loop pedal sets live anywhere, I tend to do them with my left shoe off, and that is because the only way you can change the volume of this track is by using this little control. That is a bit of a pain and not the best designed feature of these pedals, but you can control it by using your left big toe, I like to do. You'll probably find your own ways of doing that, I guess, but yeah, so anyway, I've turned the volume up on my percussion track now, so I'm recording percussion on this one. I'm going to try adding some more things. So again, I'm going to tap my foot in time with the loop, and when I'm ready to start, I'll tap extra hard to start the next loop off. Turn the volume knob down a little bit on my guitar because the strings are coming out much louder than the percussion were. Turn that down a bit. What else can we try? Try to see if that would come out on there, but evidently not. Anyway, yeah, so there's all sorts of cool things you can do by tapping on different parts of your guitar. You can come up with some nice sounds that way. If you've got a electroacoustic guitar with a pickup inside the body, you can get probably better results than you will with a guitar like this with the pickups on the surface next to the strings. Obviously a piezo pickup is going to give you a better range of tapped percussion kind of sounds. However, even if you are playing an electric with a hollow body, you can still do some quite cool stuff. So that's one option, percussion wise. The other option is, if you've got a Boss loop pedal or similar which has a microphone input on it, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Hello, hello, hello. With the beatbox type thingies. So I'm going to delete that little loop that I just made, and I'm going to make another one with the beatbox thing. Again, same deal as always. Start your loop before you start recording it, and tap your foot along with it. That way you'll get it in time straight out of the box. Here we go. Cool. This is a top tip if you are using your microphone and experimenting with beatbox things. firstly, don't sit too near your amplifier because you'll get terrible feedback if your microphone picks up the signal from the amp coming back. And once you've finished recording your percussion bits with your microphone, get the microphone volume knob and turn it right off, because if your loop volume gets louder later on, and you've still got the mic volume on, then you will find you start getting feedback later on in your recordings. So yeah, watch out for that one. That concludes the first half of my loop pedal tips and tricks video. You can find the second half, in which I cover the effects on the Boss pedals, how you can use them for cool arrangements, and a little bit of a demonstration of some of the other things you can do as well. The video should be in the related videos bar to my left. You will also find a direct link to it in the information box down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a minute for the second half.